You're with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
8 minutes after 9 o'clock. Dumelang, welcome to the Clement Manyathela show on this Thursday, the 27th of March. It's wonderful to be in your company. I hope you're well this morning. We're coming to you live from KwaZulu-Natal today. We are at the grand opening of the Westville Square in Shongweni. It's a multi-million rand lifestyle destination brought to you by Durban Tourism, getting you ready for an unforgettable Easter in Durban. We start with the 702 open line on 011-883-0702. I am taking your WhatsApps as well on 072-702-1702. So, the US President Donald Trump has finally tweeted about his nomination for ambassador to South Africa. He tweeted that, "I am pleased," and I quote here, "I'm pleased to announce that Brent Bozell III will be our next United States ambassador to South Africa." Brent is the founder of the Media Research Center, which has exposed fake news, hypocrites for many years. Brent brings fearless tenacity, extraordinary experience, and vast knowledge to a nation that desperately needs it. Did you get that part? Brent brings fearless tenacity, extraordinary experience, and vast knowledge to a nation that desperately needs it. That's what Donald Trump said on his Truth Socials. Those are always reposted on Twitter. We spent some time yesterday telling you who Leo Brent Bozell III is. You may want to go listen to that podcast if you missed it. His nomination has now been referred to the U.S. Senate Committee on Foreign Relations for consideration, but it's expected to be given the green light. But it's really interesting knowing the man and what he believes in, what he's said in the past, who his son is. So check out that podcast if you want to know more about this man who may be coming to South Africa to represent the United States. At 10 o'clock, we are going to do our hanging out feature. And being in KwaZulu-Natal, we've got someone who is also the son of the soil here. Linda Sibia is a broadcasting veteran. We've had him on the show before on the Across the Desk feature. When was it? 2 years or 3 years ago when we hosted Veterans of Radio. We did it a while back when we had him on the show. So we're going to bring him back today, but on the hanging out feature. He's really had a successful broadcasting career, having worked with stations like Ukhozi FM, Vuma FM, you name it. He's done some television work as well. So between 10 and 11 o'clock, that's our hanging out feature. At 11, we are going to do the Thursday dialogue. And today we'll be talking about the proposal to rename Sandton Drive to Leila Khaled. I'm interested in your thoughts on the open line on this. I'm happy for us to start this conversation this hour. So you may have seen that the presidency has told the city of Johannesburg to rethink renaming the street to Khaled. Their argument is that the decision risks angering the US. I mean, the US consulate itself is on the street that the city of Johannesburg wants to rename. I think the US has gone as far as threatening to shut down the consulate if the street is renamed after Leila Khaled, because they believe that Khaled is a terrorist who hijacked a plan. Others believe that he's a freedom fighter whose actions were an anger, were sort of a form of resistance for the Palestinian people. So what happens now? Should the city reconsider its decision, in your view, to go ahead with renaming the street? Should it take the cue from South Africans maybe who are being consulted as part of public hearings? Let me know your thoughts. We can start this conversation now on 011-883-0702. This motion to rename the street was supported by not only the ANC but the EFF, other parties, Al-Jamaa. There are other parties as well that supported it. The president now is intervening. And it's quite a tricky one, because if the city reconsiders this as per the instruction or intervention from the president, the country is then seen as yielding to the US bullying. But if the city goes ahead with its plans, that may also risk the country's trade relations with the US and further damage that relationship. We've spoken about Khaled before, where we've told you who she is. She's a former Palestinian militant and was a member of the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine. And there are some people who see her as a symbol of resistance against Western forces. There have been public consultations, in fact, on this matter, where some people have said, no, we see this person as a terrorist. Some say, we see her as a hero who stood up to the Western resistance. Where do you stand on this one? Give us a call on 011-883-0702. The WhatsApp line is 072-702-1702. That's the show coming up over the next 3 hours.
Clement Manyathela, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
All right, so 011-883-0702 is the number to dial. The WhatsApp line is 072-702-1702. Just to give you some context around this proposal or recommendation or instruction, whichever way you look at it, from the president for the city of Johannesburg to reconsider this decision. Just take a listen to the presidency spokesperson, Vincent Magwenya, addressing this matter as he was talking to journalists a few days ago.
On the renaming of Sandton Drive, the government is engaging with the city of Johannesburg regarding the renaming of the Sandton Drive street. This is part of the needed consultation process, which is also prescribed within our statutory procedures. It further encourages a transparent process that invites the public to have a view that is expressed openly. It is also part of the intergovernmental cooperative process. As it stands, government has a historical mandate to rename the streets in South Africa to reflect and set apart the new dispensation from the old one. The renaming of streets remains one of our democratic society's redress of the past injustices of colonialism and apartheid. However, we recognize the diplomatic sensitivities around the renaming of Sandton Drive, particularly with the United States of America. It is for this reason that national government, through the Department of International Relations and Cooperation, is in talks with the city of Johannesburg. The purpose of these talks is to agree a process that will allow the national executive to manage the diplomatic tensions with the United States without further inflaming the situation.
So that is the view of the presidency. But what's the view of the African National Congress? Here's Panyaza Lesufi addressing this matter as well.
We want to thank our councillors in the city of Johannesburg for suggesting that we rename Sandton Drive to Leila Khaled Drive. That we are on the side of the people of Palestine.
Yeah, that is the Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi, who's also the chairperson of the ANC in the province, and it's Sandton Drive, not Grayston Drive, that's going to be renamed. And the last clip I want to play for you is of the Johannesburg mayor now, who's speaking about this issue. I'll get you that clip of the Johannesburg mayor in a moment. But where do you stand on this one? Some people are saying, yeah, but why is the presidency intervening on something that must also be decided by the public? Because yes, the city of Johannesburg may have decided to go ahead with this and allow for public consultations. But what if the majority of South Africans say, yeah, let's go ahead, let's rename Sandton Drive? What happens then? Do you change that decision and say, even though the majority of people do not want this to be renamed, we are not going to go ahead with it because we don't want to inflame and just make things worse between South Africa and the US? Or do you think we should take the cue from South Africans? Or is this the part where government has to come in and say, yes, we hear what you say, South Africans, but that's not going to work for us in the long term? So let me know your thoughts on the interventions by the president. Let me know your thoughts on these consultations that are currently underway the public consultations, should those be the ones that guide the country's positioning on this one? 011-883-0702. All right, it's 23 minutes now before 10 o'clock. As we said to you earlier on, we are live from the grand opening of the West Town Square. We spoke to you about this with the city manager, about how this is going to be helping lots of communities in and around Shongweni. I'm going to come to your calls in a moment. Linkitile and Jessica, I'll start with you. I want to bring in Kara Riley now, is the marketing and communications executive for West Town Square. Thank you so much, Kara, for making time, and congratulations on this grand opening.
Thank you very much.
So West Town is a new place, the new city of the West, so to speak. Just tell us more about what this has to offer for this town, for the communities around.
Thanks very much. West Town Square is the first phase in, as you say, the new city of the West. So this is the retail hub of the space, but not just about retail, it's about dining and just lifestyle. So trying to create a high street space for people to come together as a community, like an old town, old city feel, where you can kind of, whether you're here to shop or dine or just, I suppose, hang out and be with people, it's a space for that to happen.
And I mean, apart from the shopping element, and you can see the incredible amount of shops here, apart from that shopping experience, what else can people really explore and experience here?
So we have the barn, which is a market sort of space, which is behind me, and that's sort of trying to create a permanent market. We've got a live stage there for music and entertainment. Up on level 4, we've got a lot of different kids' play areas and an amphitheatre there, which is also going to be for live music performances, a garden area where you can be having yoga on the lawn and things like that. And, just trying to create what we call sort of placemaking, which is about bringing, like I said, community together. And our other tenants on the other end, we've got Total Ninja and, new spaces for the Outer West, understanding that this is an area where people like to be outdoors and explore.
Yeah, how accessible is a place like this, and what kind of communities are you expecting here? I know Hillcrest is not so far away. The other communities in and around Shongweni, who's the people you are appealing to come try this out?
So I think it's a very South African space, because I think we range, across the demographic and the LSM. As you say, you've got the Hillcrest, Summerveld, Assegai, Dassenhoek, Kwanangezi, and I think the excitement is across both spheres or all communities. So we're catering for all spaces, and again, you can just come here and sit on a bench. Even if you haven't bought anything, you can come here with your family. So it really is to create a new space which hasn't been activated before. We've had the north and the south of KZN activated, and it's time for the West is what one of the phrases that's been coined is about.
Yeah, the new city of the West. Kara, thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you.
Kara Riley is the marketing and communications executive for West Town Square, which is officially opening today. It's 20 minutes now before 10 o'clock.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
All right, let's start with your WhatsApps and then go straight to your calls about this conversation we're having this morning. I played you a clip of the spokesperson for the presidency, Vincent Magwenya, explaining that the presidency is now intervening in the city of Johannesburg around the renaming of Sandton Drive to Leila Khaled. The argument here is that you do not want to worsen the relationship between South Africa and the US. The US consulate is on that street. In fact, I think the US has gone as far as threatening to shut down that consulate if the street is renamed after Khaled, because some people see her as a freedom fighter whose actions were really actions of resistance for the Palestinian people, but there are other people who see her as a terrorist who hijacked a plane. So what happens now? Should the city of Johannesburg take the cue from the presidents, or should it take the cue from the South Africans themselves who are being consulted on the ground? Let's start with your WhatsApps on 0727021702.
Hi, Clement. This is Saida from Lanes. Hope you guys are good. I just wanted to say that, firstly, I don't agree that America should be bullying us into naming streets or, objecting to how we name our streets, because we don't object to how they name their streets. I mean, it's our country. We have a right to name our streets the way we see fit, like they do. And then also, South Africa has always stood by Palestine for their struggles and their cause, which is in relation to how we suffered with apartheid in our days. So I think it would be fitting, because the government stance was to always stand with Palestine. So I think it would seem the right thing to do.
Hi, Clement Jabuchilwane Mkondo. Because we seems really not to be in the mood to be offending the Trump administration again, I have a solution here. We should name Winnie Drive, which was previously William Nicol, to Leila Khaled, and then take the Winnie Mandela Drive name to Sandton. I think the Trump administration would like that. Thank you so much.
Lintikile, you calling us from Centurion. Good morning. Go ahead.
Good morning, Clement. I really support the president on this one, because remember, the president is responsible for diplomatic relations between the countries. But at the same time, Clement, we should be careful not to lose our sovereign state. We should not be slaves to the Americans or countries that want to put themselves sovereign above us. South Africa is a country on its own. They make their own decisions. Do I agree with the city of Johannesburg to name the name after Leila? No, not at all. Actually, I will even suggest that they name that very same street where the American consulate is with the name Yasser Arafat. Because we all know who Yasser Arafat is, and there's no this or that about him. Everybody knows who Yasser Arafat is. So that we put our foot down to the Americans and say, look, we are a sovereign state. We will not be bullied. We will not be controlled. If you want to talk to us about it, come in a very good way. Like somebody will come in your house and say, let's negotiate, let's talk. Not just a bully consulate trying to bully the whole country to do what they want. So we have to be very, very careful over that, Clement. That's my take on this one.
All right, Lintikile in Centurion says, well, if you want to change the name, maybe by another name of a Palestinian freedom fighter and not Leila Khaled. Where do you stand on this one? Your thoughts on 011-883-0702, some of the messages that are coming through here on Twitter. Justice says, Clement, do you know what's wrong with Panyaza Lesufi for holding these views? The man's thoughts are a danger to himself. Panyaza, of course, someone who has been supporting this. Len says, if you want to rename Sandton Drive, rather call it Rasi Erasmus or Siakolisi Drive or Black Coffee Drive, Desiree Ellis, Clive Barker, Penny Haynes, Trevor Noah, Josiah Tungwani, Makazole, Ronwen Williams, Shaba. Just rename after athletes or arts people for a change. That's a message there from Len. Let's go to Carl, who is calling us from Johannesburg. Carl, what are your thoughts? Good morning.
Our thoughts are that we are being extremely naive. This is completely unnecessary. Why are we provoking our second biggest trading partner? South Africa makes up 0.1% of global trade. America makes up 23 or 24%. We're not in a position, we don't have the leverage to tell them this is our country, take your stuff. It's completely stupid. Makes absolutely zero sense to me that we would go provoke our second biggest trading partner. Make it make sense.
All right, Carl in Joburg. All right, thank you so much for your thoughts. It's 13 minutes now before 10 o'clock.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
On 702.
9 minutes before 10 o'clock. George, you're calling us from Hartbeespoort Sport. Good morning.
Good morning. An important.
Hi, George. Go ahead.
Yes. We're going to allow America to dictate to us as they have been going on. It's now 3 or 4 items that they are pushing through. We are going to continue becoming. They're going to become our masters. They will always be telling us what to do. We don't tell them what to do. Let me remind South Africans about what happened with Nelson Mandela when he was being forbidden to go and see the Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi. He says, you don't choose my friends because I don't choose your friends. We need to stand up. Unless we're not sure, the issue about economy, we are part of BRICS. We must migrate our businesses and economy towards the BRICS group. There is nothing more than hearing who you are and what you are. And that's what we do. We are hearing who we are because we are continuously saying the economy, it's nonsense. Sorry, guys. It's absolute nonsense. America does it intentionally. The president of America is shown racist tendencies, and we are. Let us save this country. Let us be what we're supposed to be. Let us be true South Africans who will survive this. We have survived many other things. I thank you.
All right, thank you so much for your thoughts, George. And Hartbeespoort Sport, I mean, obviously it's more complex than that, right? Just migrating and finding new markets. Yes, that's something you can focus on so that there's no heavy reliance. But we are in a globalized world. It's not as easy as, just move whatever relations you had or even investments with the US or vice versa and then move them to other parts. You can open up the market and make sure that you start trading and exploring more of opportunities with other countries. But it's not as easy as, let's just move this from this. But I do also get your point about bullying and how be careful of how you respond to these issues in as far as America's demands are concerned. But we have to balance all these things. Hence, I'm asking you this morning, the president is now intervening because he sees that there could be consequences here. This could further damage the relations between the two countries. Should the city of Joburg take the cue from the president, or should it take it from the residents? And if the residents themselves are objecting and saying, no, we don't want that, why would the city want to force and go ahead with it? Tabang, you're calling from Kilani. What are your thoughts? Hi.
Good morning, Clement. How are you?
Shap, go ahead.
I think, Clement, it's more a case of cutting your nose to spite your face. The previous caller, I find it very irresponsible for people to say that. We know now, Clement, that since the cutting of the US aid, apparently 20,000 jobs have gone. We know that there are serious threats of HIV, those suffering from HIV, those who've been receiving treatment, that this thing is going to rear its ugly head up again. We know we've got a flailing economy, and if we are likely to lose out on the AGOA, it's going to be even more jobs. I don't understand how Leila whatnot is going to assist us. I don't even know who's Leila whatnot. If they really need to rename the street, why can't they name it Bishop 2 Street? Who at least I know, you know. I don't know Leila, and I don't know how that will assist us if you're going to antagonize people that you are dependent on financially. You know, if you've got two friends who are differing, I think it's important to not choose between or get involved. Rather be like Kenya, and then or like we are now in the Ukraine war. We are able to choose to not choose sides. I don't know why we are forcing ourselves to antagonize a party that we depend on seriously academically. Financially, not academically. And I just think Panyaza is doing a thing very irresponsible.
All right, Thabang and Kilani, thank you for your thoughts. Let me wrap up with Robert in Roodepoort. Robert, good morning.
Good morning, Clement.
Go ahead.
I just felt like this issue of renaming of the street in Sandton Drive, it should be an issue that concerns the people of South Africa, not the United States. I understand South African, we do have trade with United States, but if we were to look at the issue of South Africa, it should be dealt with the South African citizens. So America, for them to come and dictate who should be, which street we should rename and which street we should not rename, I feel like it's more like a dictatorship coming from a foreign country. And for me, I just feel like we know we are having a certain trade with America, but that does not give them the power to dictate how we should do. They never voted for our leader. We voted for our leader. So if they want to dictate the affairs of South Africa, I just feel like they are out of touch with the reality. The reality is we put those who are in authority to be there to represent us, not to represent America.
Yeah.
The foreign policy.
Robert. All right, Robert, got you. Robert in Roodepoort. Thank you so much for your thoughts. I'll bring all the different parties to this so they can explain their various positions. I'm glad we've already heard from you at 11 o'clock when we do our Thursday dialogue. We'll bring in Al Jamaa, the former mayor who was seeing this through, bring in the EFF, the other parties as well, to hear their thoughts. And maybe you'll be swayed differently, or maybe your position is going to be more reaffirmed. It's 2 minutes before 10.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
All right, let's now bring in Winnie Mtungwa, who's the deputy head of Durban Tourism, as we witness this grand opening of Westtown Square here in Shongweni. Winnie, thank you so much for making time for us. Good morning.
Morning. How are you? Good morning to you, and good morning to the listeners.
So let's talk about the development like this and what the benefits are for tourism. How does a development like this contribute towards tourism in the city of eThekwini?
All right. It contributes in a very significant way. It's an exciting time for Durban that we are opening such a huge, development, which is a catalytic project, but it's stimulating a lot of economic and tourism, activities, particularly the location in the Western region, because it's catalyzing and stimulating more visitors to come to the region and then to experience the product itself, because it's not just a traditional mall, it's Westtown Square, it's a city on its own. Like when you're within, you don't feel like you are in a mall, it's like you're outdoor, as you can see. And also the fact that it's got that lifestyle, experience and activities which are of leisure. You can spend the whole day here without having to exit. But within the eastern region, because the western region has got many other attractions of tourism, like across the road of M13, there is the Shongweni Club, Polo Club. So there's international events that we would host there, like the Polo Cross. And just again, within the western area, there's adventure attractions, safari attractions, golf estates. So it interlinks all the different attractions of tourism. So it stimulates more visitors to come, but then they disperse to the other attractions within the western region.
Yeah, and of course we know Durban for all the different events that it holds. Joyous Celebration. Those
Absolutely.
are some of the concerts happening. Speaking of Joyous Celebration, Easter is coming up. How will this mall bring people to even outer West Durban, and what are other events that are on the pipeline that are part of just spurring up Durban tourism?
All right, so there's many other events that are in the pipeline. You spoke about the Joyous Celebration as it's the Easter season, and there's also another event, as you would know, that there's the Durban, festival, which will be featuring Rick Ross and many other, Durban local artists. So when those events happen within the city, but also when we are there, we activate to tell people about other places outside of the city, which is the western region. So many people then they become aware of the the attractions and come to West Town, even West Town itself, because as you see in front of you, there's a big space that is here where many events are going to be hosted. A whole series of calendar of events for West Town will be on the social media platforms on our website in terms of things that are actually going to happen from the July itself. Even the Easter season, they have things like the Easter run that are going to be an Easter hunt. So there's a series of events that are in the pipeline. But more than anything, it's a family, experience, and we invite people to come and experience West Town. It's nothing like we've ever seen in Durban. It talks to our tagline that Durban has more.
Yeah, come check it out here in Shongweni. Winnie Ntungwa, thank you so much for your time. She's the deputy head of Durban Tourism. It's a minute now after 10.